Just want to go back and focus on the Zee news. Now, this is what's happened. It's basically, I mean, when you read the fine print, the litigation overhang and the whole arbitration proceedings that were, going to be perhaps long drawn in the Singapore courts, that the companies have decided that they'll no longer sort of, be entangled in that kind of a spat. And I'm reading out from the statement. So Zee has entered into a settlement with CMEPL and BEPL, these are of course the Sony entities, to settle all disputes in relation to arising out of the connection with the transaction documents entered into by the company. And they mutually terminate all such transaction documents, withdraw all applications, claims or counterclaims before the Singapore International Arbitration Centre, and relinquish all rights to file claims or counterclaims against each other in relation to any of these transaction documents. And this will include the termination, the claim of $90 million, which was the termination fee claim that was sort of made by Sony on Zee. So this is a huge respite for Zee, that they don't have to slug it out in the Singapore Arbitration Tribunal. And this, it seems that this $90 million overhang, that has also been settled with this. So this includes all damages, litigation, other costs incurred, and all other claims for costs of disposition, hive off, of liquidation of the businesses or any of the other assets. So basically, from the looks of it, the first page and the detail that I have sort of read into as of now, it seems like there is a overhang of all the okay, we've got Karan actually, joining in. Karan, hi, thanks for joining in. I don't know if you got some more time to read through the rest of it. The first page gives the impression this is a relief that all the pending claims, litigation, what could have been long drawn out in the Singapore Arbitration Court, all that ends. But is there anything more to it?
No, I think this is just, mere respite that, there will not be any additional overhang in terms of costs for Zee. And this will kind of, pave the way for better margin improvement. Even the management has already given a very strong margin improvement towards 18-20% on EBITDA. They have improved last quarter in Q1, and going ahead with the festive season coming in, you will see margin improvement. So I think all this will lead to respite in terms of valuation multiples, because I think there'll be a higher visibility of getting better margins because of this overhang going away.
Okay, all right. Karan, so, we're seeing a big spurt in the stock right now, up closer on 9%. Do you think this piece of good news is more than priced in now?
I think we have a target price of 210. I think fundamentally, the price, could move upwards of that. But it all depends in terms of margin execution and growth rates. So firstly, on the growth rate side, the festive quarter is going to be very strong this quarter in terms of ad revenue, because this quarter you don't have the World Cup. Last year you had the World Cup, so a lot of spends were diverted towards cricket as a genre. And this quarter, rather during the festive season, you will see the GEC vertical coming back, and FMCG spends have also been increasing on, advertising as such. So that's respite, and secondly, also the margin improvement. So, there have been constant efforts to cut costs and improve efficiencies. Losses for ZEE5 have been coming off. They've been very conservative, or rather, kind of change the strategy in terms of how they want to, reach out to the market in terms of new content investments. So putting all the things into perspective, I think we do expect a very strong respite in terms of numbers as well. And as and when we see execution on numbers, you will see, further up move on the stock going ahead.
All right. So, Karan, so that's the overall view with regard to the fundamentals. But on this piece of news, they've come to some agreement. If they didn't come to an agreement, was there a pending liability that they had to pay, or some numbers, if we could understand that?
So I don't think any of the analysts, or rather even we had not factored in any kind of, number in terms of the liability to be paid. So I don't think there is any big negative or rather positive impact in terms of numbers as such. It's more of a multiple rating thing that this overhang, goes away completely. Now, 2-3 things to look forward would be, of course, NCLT is also being resolved. That NCLT Sony Zee merger is also resolved. If you look at this, the claims have also kind of, now turned down against them. So 2-3 things to watch out for. One is, the pleas against these, with these IDBI banks and other things which they have, which are more in terms of, part of SL groups, the creditors that he has. I think those things need to be watched upon in terms of how those settlements are done, because that will provide more respite, in terms of overhang, for a potential margin hit. And even that contract with Disney, what they had, to buy out the TV rights, of the World Cup, which they kind of called off because the merger was called off. That is also something to watch out for. But net end, I think, these kind of news coming in will not change numbers in a big manner, but it will provide respite to valuation multiples for sure.
One more statement which says they're withdrawing all claims, including the 90 million termination fee. So they get some relief on that front, I'm guessing.
Yes,
Karan?
correct. So the termination fee goes away. So as I said, anyone, we have not factored in this termination fee to come, entirely on their books. So not much of a change in terms of estimates, but yes, valuation multiples will see the rating.
Okay, so it's a relief. It's a big relief that, that 90 million claim, which would have had to be sort of, discussed and fought over in court. Now it's all mutually settled and nothing remains pending. All right, Karan, got it. Thank you so much for joining in on short notice. That's helpful. Zee Entertainment hitting the headlines this afternoon on some good